Welcome back to Light Guided, friends. Lisa here to do your July energy reading. And today I'm called to do more of a channel. Spirit has a lot of messages, and they're letting me know that this is really a time for us to be easy. And what they mean by that is we're continue to be in this shift, this energy transition. And our habits tend to be to fall back into old energy or responding to the new energy in an old way. And what they want us to be aware of moving forward into July is that this is a time to be responding to the energy in a different way, and we're still learning what that way is. So for many of us, it may be feeling a continued feeling of sort of unstable ground beneath us, choppy waters, if you will. And so their overarching message again is just, be easy, take it easy, be gentle with yourself, be gentle with the process. Also energetically, they're saying this is a time to be present to what's coming into your awareness or into your circumstance, but it's not necessarily a time to be acting. So we'll see as the reading unfolds if they can clarify more of that, but it's basically a time for receptivity. And what they're clarifying for me here is that for many of us, as the energy comes in, again, we're wanting to respond to new energy in old ways. And when we start to shift our experience into being more receptive, rather than trying to act or react to what's coming at us, we begin to be guided and more available to the intuition, to spirit. And we can begin to recognize that the circumstances that are coming at us don't necessarily require our immediate action or reaction. So I guess all of that to say there's an opportunity to be more present and mindful with our intuition and with allowing ourselves to be available and guided by that intuition, by spirit. And a new practice that I've taken on recently that's really been helpful to me is in my prayer work, what I'm offering now, or what I'm experiencing now, is simply an invitation to spirit, where I just acknowledge throughout the day, I'm inviting the wisdom of spirit into this moment. I'm inviting the perfect unfoldment of the situation. I'm inviting joy and ease, or I'm welcoming peace of mind. And this has been really powerful for me because it does allow me to be in that state of more receptivity and availability to whatever circumstances are happening without a feeling or a need to have to act or react. And believe me, it's a little uncomfortable. It's a new place to be. I am definitely somebody who likes to take charge of my situations. I don't like to leave things up to chance often, and I'm a doer, and I have been a doer for many, many years, and it's something I'm learning to deal with in a different way now. And through my own transformation of being receptive to spirit and patient with the unfolding, knowing that things are happening in the right time, that this then also allows me to have greater peace of mind. All right, with that, we're going to go ahead and jump into the cards, and let's just take a look at any additional messages that Spirit has for this collective. For those of you who resonate with this channel, with the information that's here, please do like, share, and subscribe. And definitely, if you're connected with people in your tribe that you think would resonate, please share the information. They're asking me to, they want me to put that message out there, so I am. One or two more. Great Spirit, what messages do you have for this collective? They're telling me something about orange popsicles, orange sherbet, orange icicles, something like that. So one of you maybe, you know, orange icicles, popsicles, I don't know. It might be like a sherbet. It looks good. Anyway, all right, let's go ahead and pull a card. Thank you, Great Spirit. Please advise this group. What messages would you like for them to be aware of for the month of July, please? Thank you. Oh, too many. They are saying there is a kind of eagerness and impatience that some of you may be experiencing in this shift. The impatience of recognizing something big is coming, but not having necessarily any idea of what that is or how to prepare yourselves. And for many of you, that's causing a lot of anxiety and discontent. And they're just saying, hang tight, all will be revealed. But it's important that you're available to what's coming toward you. And so some of this time is kind of preparatory for you as you're becoming more energetically available. And this is the energy that they're bringing forward. Spiritual decree. Give me just a moment to sit with this energy. This is both about making an agreement with spirit, like prior to coming into the 3D human world. And some of us are, and this is also about, hold on one second, let me see if I can clarify this message. Okay, so I'll start with the first message. The first message here is we are coming into, it's almost like when we are born and we agree to come into being in this form on this planet, we have an agreement. There's kind of a, I don't want to call it a contract because that's not actually what it is, but there's this energetic understanding, an energetic agreement. And the energy that we're in right now, it's sort of like paying, like somebody is coming to say, okay, it's time to pay up on this contract. So the agreement that we made coming into this realm, into this shape and form of being, what we're experiencing is that agreement coming to fruition. So for many of us, whether you're conscious of it or not conscious of it, at the intuitive level, you kind of have a sense and a feeling of like, oh yeah, of course this is happening now. Of course, the challenges that I'm facing now are what they are. Like you have some kind of base intuitive understanding of that. They're also calling my attention to the second message, and this one's a little bit more complex. I'm not quite sure how to translate this. It has something to do, it's like a reverse decree. So it has something to do with almost like we have an agreement with the universe as well. And so it's also our time to be calling in that agreement from the universe. So this is a mutual contract or a mutual relationship, a mutual agreement that we have in the spirit, in the realm of spirit. And in the realm of spirit, they're kind of calling in they're saying, okay, it's time to pay up on this contract. Well, they're saying we're kind of doing the same, but many of us are not using that gift. Many of us are not using our ability to connect in with spirit in that way to allow it to guide us. And this is more than just intuition. This is more than just, it's a little challenging for me to decipher this energy, but basically I think I explained it as well as I can. It's basically us calling out to the universe to say, okay, now you're in contract with me as well, and now I'm calling in the goods on that contract. Meaning, I think I said this earlier, tapping into that joy and peace, inviting that energy of the universe in to help you expand that foundation of well-being, expand that foundation of knowingness so that you are able to be in the world in that energetic flow in a way that's positive for you and for the universe. Okay? That's the best way that I can explain it at this time. So let's see what more is revealed as we go. So let's look at the current energy that's, so that's kind of the spiritual context. Let's kind of look at what's happening for you at this time. The energies feel hard to me, meaning for many of you, you may be going through some situations that feel very black and white, all or nothing. I have to make this decision. I have to do this thing. Some interesting energies coming forward, but nothing quite popping out. Let's see if Spirit will make this a little bit more clear. Okay. Let's try that again. So yeah, the energies just feel like this kind of sharp, you know, there's this, the way they're giving it to me is like a thud, like thunk. You know, there's this kind of hard line in the sand for some of you. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is the card right here. That's the first one that came out. Okay. So that was the one they wanted. So 1 ring circus. They're telling me a 3 ring circus as I pull this card. They're like, no, it's a 3 ring circus. So for many of you, you are juggling a lot. You're juggling situations, circumstances. You're dealing with your own inner world of belief, of thought patterns. You may be dealing with, for some of you, they're showing me that around you, you're starting to recognize sort of around you this quote unquote 3 ring circus. Like there's all this drama and all this chaos around you. And what they're asking here, or they're conveying here, is that you're the master of your own circus, okay? You're the master of the experience. So whether it's a 1 ring circus or a 3 ring circus, you're the master of that experience. Even if those circumstances have nothing directly to do with you, this is a time for you to be in a state of observation rather than being part of the circus. And they're telling me specifically, this is true for those of you that might consider yourselves sensitives or empaths. It's very easy for us to get caught up in the energy of others, to get caught up in the energy of circumstances. And they're really pointing out to me here that this is a time for you to be stepping back and being in an energy of observing what's happening around you. There's another message here. What would you like to clarify, please? Wow, flying. I think a flying circus, right? We have the energy of home as well. There's something here about, okay, it's something about distractions. So in your own, when you're sovereign, whole, and complete in your own energy, meaning you're not getting wrapped around the axle or caught up in this 3 ring circus or these external circumstances, what's trying to happen internally for you is this evolution and this growth and this change and this shift in the way that you're seeing the world. But if you're too caught up in these external circumstances, it's gonna delay your growth. It's gonna delay your ability to have epiphanies and aha moments, and it's gonna delay that clarity that you so desire right now. And I get a sense of sadness here. There's like such a deep desire for peace, such a deep desire for calmness and peace and stillness. So this is also, there's a piece here that is a little bit about making a conscious choice to step outside of the 3 ring circus. And as you begin to do that, things will change for you. It's going to give you that space and time internally to elevate those next levels of consciousness, those new awarenesses. But there's also a decision here about, for some of you, there's a decision here about recognizing, oh, I no longer need to be part of that three-ring circus. I no longer need to be feeding energy into that chaos. It no longer serves me. But some of you, that's a habit. It's a way of being that's a habit, and you feel like it allows you to feel useful, to be involved with that kind of chaotic energy. But it's not what serves you. It's not what serves you. And this is an interesting energy too, this home, this energy of home. Let me get a clarifier on home, please. Thank you. Wow. Dry desert. It is kind of what I was feeling, this sort of solitude, and there's some kind of resistance in this. So let me see if I can explain the way I'm seeing this energy. For those of you that are putting your energy into these external circumstances, and you're recognizing that in order to elevate, you need to be able to become more of an observer than a participant in this chaos. Part of the reason that you are involved in that chaos is because there's part of you that feels fearful, almost about like being alone with yourself. Somehow there's some unconscious part of you that imagines, you can't quite figure out what would my life look like if I didn't have all this drama around me. What would my experience be if I wasn't tied into all of this, the emotions of other people, trying to take care of other people's business? And they are clarifying for me. They're saying, like, for some of you, you're going to get this right away. It's very obvious. The chaos around you, very, very obvious. For others of you, this is going to be more subtle. And this will look more like codependence, like how you try to take care of other people as a way of feeling worthy. And what they're calling my attention to is that this is a time to begin to address and heal that. And that, you know, again, for some of you, that's kind of scary. For others of you, this is also a message of hope. There's also some hopefulness here of, wow, what could life be like if I can disengage from some of those patterns that have influenced my life all of these years. Let's see what more they'd like you to know about the current energy. Anything else here about the current energy, Spirit? Thank you. Set your intention. They're saying intention can help in this situation. If you find yourself in a kind of what feels a little bit like a crossroads, like you're not quite sure, you know, how to get from chaos to healing, simply set the intention that you want to heal that part of yourself, that you want to heal that part of your spirit, and it will begin to unfold for you. You don't have to be... how would I say, this is that old energy I was talking about earlier. In the old energy, we might identify, okay, here's a pattern. I don't like the pattern. I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to go, you know, talk to 10 people. I'm going to go read a self-help book. And we take this very masculine approach, meaning masculine energy action approach, to trying to heal and resolve what the issue is. And what they're saying is that as we step out of that old energy, in the new energy, what we get to do is just clarify our intention, and the intention is enough to set it in motion. So there is no doingness around healing. There is just simply opening to, and again, as I said before, inviting it in, inviting that spirit into your life. There is more here. I'm going to pull another card on this because there's another message here around fertility, creativity, planting seeds. We have the Golden Palace. Interesting progression. We go from 22 to 23 into the Golden Palace, which is this is like the place that, interesting energy. Let me see if I can clarify this. So this is the place that you imagine you want to go. It's the ultimate achievement of your spiritual goal, and yet you feel like it's totally unattainable. You feel like it's totally unavailable to you. So you have this idea of what spiritual or enlightenment looks like. When you attain enlightenment, you have this idea of what it looks like, and yet you believe on some level it's totally unattainable. One more. Oh my gosh, beautiful. I love this. Spirit of place. They're saying you've already attained it. You're already in the energy of this palace. This palace is already within you. This palace is already part of your consciousness, your spirit, your being. You are the palace, is what they're saying. You are the palace. So there's also then a message and an insight here around, there's no external seeking. Whatever it is you think you're seeking that feels unattainable, recognize that you already have it. It's already present within you. It's already available to you. And remember when I talked about inviting spirit in. Great Spirit, I welcome and invite the recognition of the great palace within me. I welcome and invite the wisdom, the spiritual wisdom that I need to have a joyful life. I welcome and invite joy into my consciousness. Let's take a look at what might be blocking you from anything that may be blocking you or hindering your progress at this time. Anything blocking or hindering, please bring that forward, Spirit. Blocking or hindering. Blocking or hindering. Wow, stuck in the mud. Interesting as well, again, a progression, 22, 23, 24. I'm not a numerologist, but my attention was called to that. Interesting progression. So this gives me the sense that for many of you, you've been on this journey for quite some time, and you felt like you reached what felt attainable at the time. Like you reached a level of spiritual clarity that really felt right to you. And it was almost like the minute you got there, and you're in your world, you're in your life, you're in your experience, and suddenly this door flew open and showed you a whole new path in front of you. It showed you a whole new level, and it caused you to sort of get stuck, because it's like, wait a second, I thought I attained this certain level of consciousness, a certain level of awareness, a certain level of well-being, and now I realize I'm just at the beginning. I'm at the beginning of this. So this is, they want me to pull a clarifier on this. One moment, please. There's also something here about messages. And they're telling me, it's like, stop giving yourself false messages. There's something in there, false messages. How would you like to clarify this, please? Thank you. Wow. Wizard of Awareness. One moment, please. So what they're telling me here is that you're feeling stuck because you're expanding into something that's completely foreign to you. You're expanding into something that previous to now you hadn't had a consciousness about, you hadn't had an awareness about, what this would be or could be. And that's part of why there's an energy of stuckness, is because you're standing in this doorway looking ahead, feeling like a beginner again, feeling like you're starting from scratch, you're starting over. And they're telling me that's the new energy. That's what you're stepping into. So what's the message here? What does this bird represent, Spirit? What does this canary represent? What does this canary represent? Thank you. Peaks of joy. Wow. So the canary, it's like that energy is here. Okay. So they're giving me kind of two messages here. On the one hand, they're saying that you worked really hard to get to a certain level of joyfulness in your life. And it was like you had a formula. You kind of had this formula of, this is how I reach joy. This is what it looks like for me. And so some of you are holding tight and holding steady because you're afraid that if you move through that doorway, that energetic doorway, that somehow you're going to lose all that sense of joy that you have built, that you've created in your life. And what they're telling me is that it's like the joy that you once created has been created in the old energy. And what's coming is beyond your wildest expectations. Like, you're right. You can't even begin to conceptualize what that's going to look like, because the way we identify and understand what we think of as joy in the old energy is completely different in the new energy. There's a completely different vibe between the two. So again, there's something here about the elephant calls my attention around, memories of the past, memories of how you used to do a certain thing, memories of how you overcame difficulties and the way that you did that. Oh, that time I had that difficulty, here's what I did to get out of it. You're holding on to that framework. It's like an old framework, but the building, okay, so they're giving me this image of like an old Adobe building, right? And this old building was built single story and it has a scaffolding around it. Well, in order for this building to now evolve into what it's meant to be, which is no longer this tiny little single-story building, they have to build this whole new scaffolding around the outside of this building in order to start building and adding layers. And so that's kind of the energy that you're kind of in transition around that energy. Like, you want to build the new building, but you have to build the scaffolding first, so that you have access to, be able to build it. Anything else? Thank you. Balancing act. Oh, interesting. When they give me this energy, I would feel like seeing this energy would give me a feeling of like peace, like equanimity. But actually, there's a tenuousness here. There's like a quality here of tension, and this balancing act that's happening is very tense. It's a very, it puts you on edge. And they are saying actually the act of trying to balance the old energy and the new energy, like the act of that itself, is actually here for your learning. It's actually here for your highest good. And it's on purpose. That's not happening by accident. What steps need to happen, Spirit, that will help people move through this energy with more ease? Anything here that you'd like to offer around creating more ease? Moonlight. Wow. This is also about... They're telling me the word like excavation, but this feels to me like old emotional energy. So some of you are still healing at that level as well. And by level, I mean there's different ways that we move through energy. And some of you are still in not just an old energy or an old way of dealing with things, right? but there's old energy within you. There's it's like old emotional energy that's still processing through you. And the word purge comes to mind. There's like a need here for, and not just, they're saying it's not just about releasing energy. It's not just about, there's a part of that, but they're saying here, this is really about almost physically, like tangibly purging things in your experience that keep you in this old energy, that keep you in this old way of thinking or these old patterns. There are things in your physical environment, like they're asking for some change there. Because as we change our physical environment, it prompts us into relating to our environment differently, which helps us to shift out of old thinking, because now we're having to look at things from a new lens. Anything more here, Spirit? I feel like there's one more. Thank you. Aw, spark. Sweet energy. Multiple messages here, as always. They are letting me know, some of you are wondering about love relationship, coming into connection with someone, planting the seeds around that. There's a lot of energy around that for this group. A lot of energy around love and relationship. I may do a separate reading, but it's too much to go into for this one. I would say that that is connected to some of this emotional healing that you're doing, excavating, digging up and excavating and purging some of this old energy, that it's time, that the energy is ripe for that. And as you go through that process, they're actually showing me like you're going to continue to have these moments of wisdom that are going to be very healing for you. So as you're actually physically purging your environment, there's something very healing that comes out of that. And it's almost like, they're showing me almost like a layer of skin coming off through this purging. It's like you're removing a layer of an identity that no longer serves you. And they're also showing me here something about sparking the flame. Sparking the flame, igniting, it's not quite igniting passion, but it's about, they're actually showing it to me as flames extinguishing. It's like you've been trying to light a spark under something, whether it's an idea, a project, or whatever it is, you're trying to light this spark and it sort of keeps going out, like it doesn't get traction. It's not getting traction. And Spirit, can you say a little bit more about that? And they're saying that may also be related to love relationship, where you're trying to resurrect a love relationship or resurrect your desire for love or your capacity for love. But it keeps sparking out. It keeps fizzing out. Ooh. Yeah, there's some particularly around the love piece, around the relationship piece, there's definitely some energy. And so they're telling me for some of you, and I don't really like these terms because they don't resonate for me, but I know that a lot of people use them, like twin flames or soulmate. Some of you who have been on a love journey, who have had a very intense connection in the past that may have had elements of being toxic, that's still in your field, that's still influencing you. And they're telling me it's also affecting your ability to be creative right now. That's kind of what they were trying to communicate here, and it was a little fuzzy for me, but they're explaining now that it's also part of your creative vibe, your creative energy. That, one moment, one more card. They'd like me to pull one more card. What is it about this creative spark or this creative energy, Spirit, that you'd like to communicate? Thank you. Make a choice. There's a heaviness to this energy. there's a sense here in this, and I'm going to say both for those of you where this is resonating at the level of love relationship, and for those of you where this is resonating at the level of creativity, expression, fertile creativity. This is that hard energy I was feeling, like that hard energy about having to make a choice, and it kind of freezes you. It's like, well, letting go of these old patterns. How do I let go of this old relationship that hurt me, for example, and move forward and not have that happen again? Or how can I keep pouring energy into something creative when it keeps sparking out, when it's not taking off? And you feel like you're in this hard choice energy where you have to decide all or nothing, one or the other. And what they're saying here is that it's not that you can't take a wrong path. There's no wrong door on this journey. They're just different experiences. So if you choose to continue to process through, or you're still healing from an old wound in a relationship, and that's still hurting your heart and it's still keeping you from moving forward, that's one pathway of experience. If you're in a place where you're ready to let that go and heal that and move in another direction, that's just another experience. So again, not right or wrong, good or bad. These are just different experiences. And they're also saying, oftentimes this is about timing as well. Sometimes we're trying to manifest something of creation, relationship or a creative endeavor or a project, and we're trying to manifest this, and it just keeps fizzling out because the timing's not quite right. So what advice do you have, Spirit, for this collective related to that? Wow. Wide open and sacred pool. The first impression I got as these cards flew out was just this sense of open yourself up to the universe. Don't be so focused on trying to heal the situation, or trying to let go of the situation, or trying to, resurrect a project, or trying to solve for that. It's like, rather, this is a time to just expand, just open and surrender, and not be in the fixing and the doing and the trying to figure it all out energy, but rather being in the open energy. And they're giving me this impression that as soon as you step into that openness where you can just drop having to fix, solve, resolve, understand, heal, all of this stuff, when you can just move your attention away from that, it's like you experience this greater sense of freedom, and there's kind of this awareness of, oh yeah, I guess I could drop that. I could have dropped that at any time. But when you drop it now, there's this energy of openness, and suddenly you feel freer, and things look differently. Things look and feel different, and you feel more connected to your purpose. And I see like there's an ease that comes from this. There's an ease that comes from this, but there's also a sense then of like, then the abundance can come forward. When you step into this open energy, then this energy of abundance can come forward. You can be more attuned to your intuition, more attuned to what's available to you. And it may look very different than what you expect. Maybe your heart is attached to an outcome, like you're really aching over the loss of a relationship. But that aching keeps you stuck in a situation that's never going to be fulfilling for you. And by allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to let that go or to drop it, you open up into this whole new possibility of love that's beyond anything you could ever even imagine. But you have to make that decision to be willing and invite the intention to step into this new energy. Any final guidance, Spirit, for this collective? Any final guidance? Any final guidance, please? Thank you. Wow. What a powerful energy that is. Mountain. Let let me pull a clarifier on this. They're telling me it's like, I don't understand this at all, but it's something like step into the mouth of the dragon. Step into the mouth of the dragon, all will be revealed. Something kind of like that. And why step into the mouth of the dragon? What does that mean? It's not as scary as you think it is what they told me. And the mountain, there's actually a lot of spiritual protection. There's a lot of spiritual energy and spiritual protection in there. We have storm fields and compass. Oh my gosh. This is your final guidance, Spirit. Feels so heavy. Feels so heavy. The basic message here that I'm getting is like you're always being guided, and ultimately we have this pathway here again of, you know, make a left or go straight. What do I do? Does the path go all the way through? Do I have to, you know, take a chance, take a risk, and wait, there's a storm coming right to where that house is. Maybe I should make a left instead of go straight. And they're basically just saying, like, you're protected. Spirit is protecting you. And step into the mouth of the dragon. They're saying kind of cheeky. They're being cheeky, but they're basically saying, like, the mouth of the dragon is spirit. And spirit is protecting you. And you can step into the warmth of spirit and know and understand that there are no mistakes, that spirit will always be here with you. And I mean, basically, that's it. Basically, that's it. And I want to pull, it's kind of a weird way to end the reading, but that's what they're giving me. And I want to pull a couple of gemstone cards for healing. So for those of you that just needs a little extra support right now, if you're a person who resonates with different stones and crystals, here are some for your healing. Healing, they're telling me healing, protection, and support. So we have diopside, shadakite, and Herkimer diamond. Beautiful, really interesting energy. This is a very like mystical energy here. Diamonds are very good for raising your vibration, for connecting in with the angelic realms. I'm not familiar with shadakite. That's not a stone I've ever come across, but the energy I get here is very much about being in that energy of trust. This is like that stepping into the mouth of the dragon energy of, like, you know, you're sheltered by spirit. Spirit, you're never alone. Spirit is always with you, and spirit is here to protect you, teach you, support you, open you. And then diopside. This is an energy around wisdom. They're telling me that this is really about to support not your intuition, but your inner wisdom, your inner guide, which is connected to intuition, but they're distinguishing that for me to say this is more about wisdom. And they're saying tapping into the angelic wisdom. So beautiful energy here, beautiful healing energy for you. And I hope that you found something in these messages that resonate, that help bring you clarity and support and love. And just know that spirit is always here with you. With that, my friends, I will see you on the flip side. Thank you so much. Much love.